with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around with me. You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
This actually comes from a young lady who was talking about leaving her job, and she wanted to voice her concerns about the anxiety she was feeling about doing so. Let's take a listen. So scared to resign from my job. Change can be scary. Hi friends, I'm aware this is probably so stupid, but I am putting in my 2 weeks today, and I am so incredibly nervous. Are you nervous because you're endeavoring onto something new, or are you nervous because you don't want to leave a bad situation or a toxic environment and you're scared about the reprisal from the person that you're going to turn your 2 weeks notice into? This is kind of one of those sticking points. So let's read further. I know my boss is going to be absolutely shocked. Is shocked in a good way or shocked in a bad way? I am leaving a toxic workplace for a better position. Good for you. Better money. And they're even paying for my school, but I'm still absolutely terrified to press send on this resignation letter. What are you afraid of? It sounds like you have a new awesome job. You're getting more money. You're getting a better position. And they're going to pay for school, which in and of itself is already a pay raise by itself. Because if somebody pays for you to go to school, quick hint, if somebody pays for you to go to school, or they give you some on-the-job training, whether it's a certificate, certification, whatever the case may be, they pay for higher education, they pay for you to get a degree. When you leave that position, you not only walk out with the experience that provided by doing the job that you were hired for, but you also get to walk out with that degree. They can't take that knowledge or that paper from you. So that's a reason in and of itself to leave. If you can get somebody to pay for school, depending on what school you go to and which school they're paying for, that could be a pay raise of anywhere from $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a year, depending on how much they're paying and how much they're giving you towards your education. So that's something to be figured in. And if they're paying you more because when people pay you more, there's more that goes along with it. Now, I understand that you may be scared to take that next step because, the devil you know is more comforting than the devil you don't. But you'll never know whether you're walking into a new fresh hell or you're walking into heaven if you don't take the chance. The truth of the matter is you're already getting run over right now at your current job, which is probably why you were looking around for another job to begin with. So you're already being taken advantage of. You're already being beat down. You're already being, feeling anxiety. Probably not just from putting in the resignation papers, but you're probably feeling anxiety every time you walk through the door. Every time you sit down on Sunday night and you think about tomorrow morning and I have to go back to that place, you probably have a sense of anxiety. This doesn't necessarily have to be your experience when you go to work. You shouldn't necessarily have to feel anxiety every time you punch the clock or you get ready to show up or every time you walk into your boss's office. There are workplace environments where you can work, where you can enjoy showing up or you don't even mind showing up. You look forward to showing up. You don't mind the people that you work with. It's not a toxic environment. One of the things that I will say is when you go for job interviews, and this is something that I've been talking to my daughter and my kids for the longest time. Anytime you go for a job interview, you always have to keep in mind that you're not just being interviewed, you're also interviewing the place that you're prospectively going to be working at. So just as much as they're asking questions to you about your personality and how you fit in and figuring out whether you fit in with them, you should be trying to figure out whether they fit in with you. Because this is a two-way street. A workplace environment is a two-way relationship. Yeah, you're going to them, you're asking them for employment, you're asking them for a job, you're asking them to hire you, but at the same time, you have to work those hours. You have to be around these people. It's not just a matter of whether you can do the job and whether you'll be good at the job. It's also whether you can associate with or tolerate the people who you're going to be working shoulder to shoulder with, and in some cases, the people you're going to be reporting to. So that's just something that should be taken into consideration. Let's continue to read. I know my boss will probably call me right after, and I'll be honest with her. That is just a better opportunity and nothing against her. She was a great boss. The company is just toxic AF. But I just hate letting people down, and honestly, I feel like it's just totally awkward. Any advice? Here's my advice. If you are going to leave this job and you get along with your boss, then you should contact your boss before you put in your resignation papers. Just give them a phone call, stop into their office, and let them know what your plans are. Look, I found another position. It's a great opportunity. They're offering me more money. They're offering me education. They're offering me a better position, etc., etc., etc. And I think that it might be a good fit for me. And you don't have to go any further than that. Like this is your boss, not your mom. So you don't have to go any further than that. And if they are a good boss and they're actually looking out for you and your best interest, then they will be happy for you. If you tell your coworkers that, hey, I have a better job, better position, more money, paying for school, and they're excited for you and they're willing, hey man, good luck with everything. And maybe you have a couple coworkers, if you're really cool with people, they might say, hey man, where's that job at? They still hiring? And that's cool too. You have to be very careful about that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But people who support you and people who support your mental health, your improvement as far as your work-life balance, those kinds of things, those are the people that you try to hold on to. Those are the type of people that you worry about their feelings. Anybody who's going to sit there and tell you that you have to sit in a toxic situation because they're in a toxic situation, or you can't leave because you make their job easier, even though it would improve your life, don't worry about what they think. You just give them your resignation and you're out, right? Now, I will say this, 2 quick points. On the first point, something I kind of dropped off, when somebody comes to you and asks you to put in like a recommendation for them to come along with you to your new position, or even at a job that you already have, be very careful about who you put your name to. Because in most cases, jobs are kind of like the mafia. Like if you recommend somebody, that person is on your head. You are responsible for that person that you recommended to the boss. So if you're a good worker, you're a hard worker, you show up all the time, you show up when you're supposed to be there, you're on time, you're efficient, you're prepared, etc., etc. You come in there and say, hey, I got a good friend, and this is my buddy, and I recommend him for the job. This dude never shows up. He's always late. When he does show up, he's never prepared, and quite frankly, they think that he might be stealing. They are going to look at you just like him. Birds of a feather flock together. You brought that sucker in. So maybe you're not doing as good a job as I thought. So you want to be very careful about who you recommend for jobs. That's the first thing. Don't mess your job up because you're trying to help somebody else out. The second thing, when you're leaving a job, never leave a job. Just don't burn bridges down. Like that whole scorched earth technique of leaving jobs, like, oh, screw you people, I don't need you no more. I got my new gig. This place sucks. Screw you, screw you, screw you. You're cool, screw you, and screw you. Right? You don't have to leave jobs that way. You're leaving. You're leaving. So give them the 2 weeks. That's respectable for almost any job. Unless there's something special, you have a special position. But that's respectable for any job. You give them the 2 weeks, that gives them a courtesy. It's a 2-week courtesy that they're able to restabilize. You're able to train your replacement, or they'll be able to hopefully bridge that gap of you leaving and your absence. That's completely respectable. 2 reasons why you want to do that. One, never step on the toes, on somebody's toes, because they may be connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. Don't step on people's toes today, because they may be connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. Sometimes, and I've seen this, where people have left jobs and they went out like a blaze of glory, like a fiery phoenix. F you, F this place, I don't need this no more, screw this. And I'm talking about in professional corporate settings. They walked out, burned the place down, cussing everybody. And the crazy part is, what they didn't know was the job that they were going to called the references from the job that they had. Let me say that one more again. They called the job that they had. And if you burn out like that, they might mention it to your new employer. So you don't want to create any problems. You don't want to create any stress. You don't want to burn out that way. Not to mention, if you're doing a good job at the position you have, and this speaks to the whole idea of you going on to something new, something different, and it may be scary because you the devil you know. You may leave the job that you have, get to the new job, and be like, you know what, this isn't working out. I like the other place better. Maybe it's not as toxic as you thought, because that happens sometimes too. It might not be as toxic as you thought it was. Maybe it was you. And you say, you know what, I can do that other job. And you always have that door open that if you need to go back to the other job, you can go back to the other job. Look, that's my take. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCA.